Dear students, in the previous video we have discussed about Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's current law, KCL. Now we are going to discuss about Kirchhoff's voltage law or Kirchhoff's second law. This second law is also taken as mesh theorem. And see here, this Kirchhoff's voltage law, simply in shortcut we can represent it as KVL, Kirchhoff's second law. As I have already explained you, see, if there is a resistor in a circuit and if current is flowing from A to B in this resistance, or if you move across the resistor in the direction of current, then current is flowing from high voltage to low voltage. From this you can write that VA minus IR is equal to VB. That means VA minus VB is equal to IR. So if you move from A to B, the potential difference across the resistor is dropped down, and finally the final potential difference between A and B is taken as VA minus VB. So what is VB? If you are asked, VB is nothing but VA minus IR. See here, if you move across the resistor in the direction of current, the potential difference is negative. In the same situation, if you move from B to A, that means in a direction opposite to the current, then what is the potential difference between A and B? This potential is raised from B to A. Why? You are moving away from the current direction. That means you are moving from low potential to high potential. As a result, you can say the potential drop across this resistance VA is equal to VB plus IR. So, in this sign convention, you have to follow that if you move across a resistance in the direction of current, the potential is dropped. So, the potential drop is negative. And if you take the direction opposite to the current across any resistor in a conductor, then you have to take down, you are moving from low potential to high potential, so that potential is raised. So in the direction of current, potential is dropped minus IR. In the direction opposite to the current, that potential is raised, that V is equal to IR. And here, in a similar way, I am taking a cell. See here, there is a cell just like this. The EMF of this cell is E. For example, it is the terminal A, it is the terminal B. If you move across this cell from positive to negative, within the cell you are moving from high potential to low potential. That means within the cell, if you move from positive to negative, the potential is dropped. That means EMF is negative. Otherwise, if you move from B to A in a direction from negative terminal to the positive terminal, in such a situation, potential is raised from low to high, so that the EMF is positive. So, within the cell, if you move from positive terminal to negative terminal, the EMF is dropped, that is negative. Within the cell, if you move from negative terminal to the positive terminal, then the potential is raised, so that the EMF of the cell is taken as positive. And now, I am going to explain you this Kirchhoff's voltage law. See here, This is a cell of EMF E1 with internal resistance R1, another cell of EMF E2 with internal resistance R2. There is a resistor connected in the circuit, that is R. Now I am connecting another cell of EMF E3 and there is no internal resistance for this cell. And now I am going to connect another cell just like this, whose internal resistance is EMF is E4 and the internal resistance is R4. This is a loop A, B, C, D, A. It is the loop A, B, C, D, A. Loop means if you start from A, B, C, D, A is the loop. Or if you start from B, B, C, D, B, D, A, B. So starting point and ending point should be the same if it is a closed loop. And here, if you take A, B, C, D, A, that is also loop in this direction. Say, I am observing in this circuit that there is a current I. In this direction, current is flowing like this. Now, I am moving in a direction opposite to the current, just like this. Opposite to the current. So, in the loop A, B, C, D, A, I am starting from A. That means within the cell you are moving from positive to negative terminal. So that minus E1. And here the current is flowing like this, but across this resistor you are moving against current. That is minus plus opposite to current. Potential is rising plus IR1. And here also you are moving from positive terminal to negative terminal. That is minus E2. And here also you are moving against a resistor. That means plus IR2. And here also you are moving A, B, C, D, A means across the resistor opposite to current direction you are moving. So that the potential is rising, IR. And here if you observe carefully, you are moving A, B, C, D, A loop. You are moving from negative terminal to positive terminal of the cell E3. So that this EMF is positive. That is minus E3. Once again I am writing here minus E1 plus IR1 minus E2 plus IR2 plus IR minus E3. I am striking off this. So up to E3 you have finished. Now I am going across the same cell, another cell of E4. You are moving from A, B, C, D, A means across the cell from positive terminal to negative terminal, EMF is dropped. Here from negative to positive, EMF E3 is positive. And here this is negative E4. And here against current you are moving across this R4. So that plus IR4. This is equal to 0. This means according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, algebraic sum of EMFs of the cells and the potential differences across the resistors connected in a closed loop is equal to 0. That means sigma E plus sigma V is equal to 0. This is Kirchhoff's voltage law. In this situation, you can write that IR1 plus IR2 plus IR plus IR4 is equal to E1 plus E2 plus E4 minus E3. This is the conclusion made from this second law or voltage law, Kirchhoff's voltage law. This is very important. The Kirchhoff's first law and second law are very, very important in analysis of electric circuits. Now, I am going to explain you Wheatstone's bridge. Wheatstone's bridge principle. See here, Wheatstone's bridge. This is a resistor P, another resistor Q, another resistor R, and finally the resistance S. This is terminal A, B, C, D. A and B are connected to a cell just like this. And here, if you observe carefully, the B and D are connected by means of a high resistance box along with a sensitive galvanometer. What is a galvanometer? This is a device which measures currents which are of very low magnitudes, micro level currents, or less than micro level currents. If more current is passed through galvanometer, then what happens? The entire object will be damaged. In order to avoid that, we have to connect a high resistance box in between B and D. Due to high resistance, the current flow will be opposed. As a result, minimum current flows through this galvanometer. And here, let us say a current I is passing through this junction A. This current I is split into, in this path from A to B, I1, and from A to D, the current is I2. And here, this current I1 coming from point A to B is again splitted into a path through the path BC, that is I3, and another path passing through the galvanometer IG. And finally, here to D, I2 is coming, IG is coming. Finally, this IG and I2 combine and pass through this path D to C, that is as I4. The division of currents should be very important. Say I have taken 4 resistors P, Q, R and S which are connected as shown in the figure. The terminals B and D are connected by means of a high resistance box, and the current is allowed to pass through a galvanometer G. See, I am here giving you I is split into I1 plus I2. This is according to junction law KCL. And this I1 and IG, I1 is split into I1 is equal to I3 plus IG. I3 plus Ig. This is equation 1 I am taking. And here, in this situation, I am taking that I2 plus Ig. I2 plus Ig is equal to I4. This is equation 2. Now, I have applied KCL only for junction B and for junction D, also for junction A. This is for junction A and this is for junction B and this is for junction D. Now, I am having A, B, D, A loop just like this. A, B, D, A loop. For the loop, A, B, D, A, I am applying KVL, second law. Say from A to B you are moving in the direction of current. What is that current? I1. What is the resistance? P. So in the direction of current if you move, potential is dropped. I minus I1 into P plus here along this galvanometer also you are moving in the same direction, that is minus I2 into Ig. This is current Ig into G. That means some potential is dropped across this galvanometer. And later here in this direction from D to A, here I2 is from A to D, but you are taking direction from D to A. That's why here from D to A potential is rise. That means plus I2 R is equal to G. From this you can write that I1P plus IgG is equal to I2 R. This is equation 3. Similarly, I am here once again taking loop B, C, D, D. For the loop B, C, D, B. From B to C, you are moving in the direction of current. That is I3 minus I3Q in the direction of current. From C to D, you are moving from C to D, that means opposite to I4. That means plus I4 into S. Current opposite direction, the potential is rise, that is plus I4 into S. And here from D to B, through galvanometer, Ig is flowing in this direction, but you are moving from D to B. Then what is that? Plus opposite to Ig plus Ig into G is equal to 0. Here in this situation you can take that I3Q is equal to I4 S plus Ig G. This is equation 4. For a condition you have to imagine that if potential at B is equal to potential at D, VB, if VB is equal to VD, then there is no current passing through this galvanometer. Why? If there is no potential difference, there is no chance for current flow. That means Ig equal to 0. Such a situation is called balanced Wheatstone bridge. This condition is called balancing of bridge. See, for this situation, for balancing of Wheatstone bridge, this is Wheatstone bridge. Very important. Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone's bridge. If Ig equal to 0, this first equation can be taken as I1 equal to I3. First equation. And the second equation is taken as I2 is equal to I4, where Ig becomes 0. And the third equation I am taking, since Ig is 0, I1P is equal to third equation. I1P is equal to I2R. And this is third equation. And the fourth equation becomes I3Q is equal to I4. Yes, this is equation 4. By dividing with this equation 3 with equation 4, we can write I1P by I3Q is equal to I2R by I4. Yes. See, as we have already known that I1 equal to I3 and I2 equal to I4. From this, finally we can conclude that P by Q is equal to R by S. This is Wheatstone's meter bridge principle. What is that? P by Q is equal to R by S. In such a situation, that means in balanced condition of Wheatstone bridge, there is no current flowing in this path from D to D. That means you can neglect this Ig, HR and G. See, here there are two resistors P and Q in series in ABC path. So I am taking this one as R1 is equal to P plus Q. In this path, ADC path, there are two resistors connected in series. I am taking that combination R2 is equal to R plus S. So what is the effective resistance of this Wheatstone bridge in balanced condition? R effective is equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R. This is one path, this is parallel path. If R1 and R2 are parallel, R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Therefore, P plus Q into R plus S by P plus Q plus R plus S is the effective resistance of balanced Wheatstone bridge. And here, if the bridge is not balanced, that special case can be explained later in the excess material in problems. Thank you.